Good evening, everyone. Going to be chatting about what is an optimal circadian day. And you get to check me out with the hair with no product in it. So tonight, I get this question often in the office, what time of day do I get to get up, to go see the sunrise? What time of day should I be out to get my vitamin D? What time should I be eating? What time should I be exercising? How should I sleep optimally? And over the past few years, I've kind of figured this out through trial and error. But there is a new app that I've been playing around with, Circadian Life app. We'll talk a little bit more about it tonight, and I'll have some examples up in my stories after this. And for those that are using Google, I've given away all the iPhone apps. I should say promo codes for it. But for people who send me a direct message, just put in their Circadian, as the code word to me a DM, and I'll send you a free lifetime code to the Circadian Life app. But what are your circadian rhythms? Those are your 24-hour cycles. They're programmed by many things, but mainly by light and the timing that the nutrients come in. Also programmed by the time you move your muscles and such, but light and timing and nutrients are the two biggest Zeitgebers, or time givers is the German word. So we'll run through what is an optimal day. So if you're awake before sunrise, you don't want to be seeing artificial light, because light is what programs your clock, your supracosmic nucleus. So ideally, if you're up before sunrise, you're going to be wearing some type of lenses that block all blue light, and probably mostly green light as well. So your brain still thinks it's nighttime until the sun breaks the horizon. So this is what I'd wear in the morning time before going out for sunrise. Try to mitigate or minimize the artificial light at night. I should say minimize the artificial light in the morning time that you're exposed to. So, ideally do something like meditation or, go walking or something like that, but not intense exercise or eating before sunrise. Once the sun rises, be outside, get, ideally 20 minutes of sun with your eyes, facing, ideally east, but the color of the sky will inform your brain what time of day it is. It's mostly that blue spectrum of light in the morning time that wakes up your brain and starts making you release cortisol. And cortisol is neither good nor bad, but if you're making cortisol at the wrong time of day, that can be less than optimal. So you want to have at least 20 minutes of sunlight in the morning time. That blue light wakes you up for the day. There's always going to be red light outside. And so that's why red light, red lenses in the morning time or in the evening time aren't going to mess you up. So if you're coming back inside, you ideally like to eat within an hour or two of sunrise. That primes the gut and liver for the nutrients, and you should try to stay on that cycle 7 days a week. For the remainder of the day, ideally, anytime you're inside under artificial light, wear some type of lenses that protect your eyes. So you don't want the high intensity blue light from the screens, the LED lights, compact fluorescence, or even just light getting filtered through glass affecting your circadian rhythms. That light that enters your eye in the morning time, there's these receptors in the back of the eye called the melanopsin receptors. They're basically blue light detectors. That light then goes to a part of the brain called the supracosmic nucleus, which is your basic time clock for the rest of the body. So if you're looking at screens like we are right now, without eye protection, your brain's getting the signal that it's still noontime, and you're making hormones and neurotransmitters differently than it being at 5 o'clock in the evening time or 6 o'clock, wherever you're at. So when I'm inside, I'm always wearing some type of lenses to protect my eyes from the artificial light. I'm pretty good with my biohacking, so if you've seen me in the office, I always have some photobiomodulation panels on or red lights on, so it usually balances out some of the artificial light, but for the most part, I'm still always wearing the glasses so I can control my light environment, so I can control my circadian clocks. So ideally, you should only be eating during daylight hours as well, and depending where you're at in the world, those seasonal eating time patterns may change. So you would like to finish eating 3 to 4 hours before your normal bedtime. That gives time for the clock to your gut and liver to shut off. Yes, they're getting a signal from the supracosmic nucleus based off some of those light cycles, but they're also, that nutrient coming in there also tells them to stay on. So you want your liver and gut to shut off. You don't want the metabolism turned on while you're sleeping. It's going to raise your metabolic temperature. Your sleep isn't going to be as good. And there's a great book, The Circadian Code by Dr. Panda, that explains all the science behind that. So stop eating 3 to 4 hours other than water before you go to bed. The nutrition part's easy. I'm not going to tell you what to eat, just tell you what time to eat right now. Now for the light, there's some advanced level glasses that people can get that have kind of like a, kind of like twilight color, but we'll say that for 102 circadian rhythms. But for the most part, sunsets, depending on how sensitive you are to artificial light, may mean that you may want to put on the red lenses from sunset to your bedtime. Myself personally, I'll be unconscious in about 30 to 40 minutes if I put on these red lenses, so I will save those until my predetermined bedtime, which I keep 7 days a week. One reason to keep your bedtime generally within a 30-minute window or so, but keep your wake-up time pretty much the same. It's just that your body gets used to these rhythms, and so if you try to phase shift on the weekend and stay out to 2 a.m. and get up at noon, and then switch back to going to bed at 9 o'clock and wake up at 5 a.m. on Monday morning, you're basically putting yourself through jet lag or jumping multiple time zones. With daylight savings time is another example. So you want to try to stay consistent to your body. So light will help program that. So put on your red glasses about an hour or so before you want to go to bed. But if you have real trouble sleeping, maybe 3 hours before bed. Anytime it's supposed to be dark outside, it should be dark on your inside. Now exercise, that's a little bit of a complicated one, but it depends on what your goals are. Most of the time it's that, people have got to try to fit it in their schedules. But if you want optimal performance, it's going to be in the mid-afternoon. That's when your muscles are most primed for, intense exercise. So if you're trying to go for, the best run of your life, speed-wise, or, an Olympic lift, you want to be doing it in the afternoon. That's why most world records are generally set in the afternoon. One thing with exercise, I've done a video, this is about 2 years ago probably, about why you don't want to really be working out inside under a bunch of artificial light. Because when you're working out inside under a bunch of artificial light, the light enters your eyes, hits your skin, it's on your brain, it's noontime, and maybe you're trying to work out at 5 a.m. You're phase shifting what your muscles are really ready to do. So if you're gonna have to work out inside, definitely protect your eyes and ideally protect your skin, long sleeves, and try to mitigate the bright overhead lights. If the light's coming kind of from the floor, it doesn't hit the receptors as much, but ideally all exercise should be done outside. So I think those are the major things. Time of day that you eat is important. Sun up to sundown. Time of day that you wear the glasses if you're inside, basically indoor sunglasses. So daytime ones, post sunset, switch to the red ones. See how sensitive you are to them. Like I said for myself, half hour might be unconscious, so I'm gonna take these off right now. And then exercise, get it done. Just listen to a great podcast about the benefits of exercise and longevity. Essentially, if you're a couch potato, that's equivalent of continued smoking use for risk of cardiovascular disease. So it's even worse than smoking for some people. So you need to exercise, you gotta find what you like to do. Ideally, do all your exercise outside. As I was saying earlier, for the people just joining, there's an app I've been playing around with. It's called the Circadian app. Circadian.life is their website. I have a link in my bio if you want to check it out. And for those that are Android users, I do have 4 promo codes for lifetime use of their app. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a DM. First 4 people that send me a DM with the word Circadian in it and spell it right, I'll send you the codes. So I want to just jump on here, kind of tell you guys what an optimal circadian day is, because I get that question a lot in the office. And if there's any questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. I think next week, potentially going to be doing, maybe doing a Ask Me Anything or hormone replacement therapy. Also lining up some people that talk about exclusion zone water for the kind of the quantum nerds. So if you have a topic that you're also interested in, shoot me a message. Question, oh yes, this is a good one. What does chronically, being seated do to the heart? That's not how your muscles are supposed to be stimulated throughout the day. The colloquialism, sitting's the new smoking is probably true. So your muscles are extremely important for your metabolism, more important than just your locomotion. So healthy muscles, healthy longevity. So if you don't have a healthy muscles, it's very likely you're going to end up having inflammation. Inflammation is bad for the cardiovascular system. So I'm kind of speaking in circles with it. I don't think there's an exact study that's going to say if you sit, bad cardiovascular things happen, but sitting is not evolutionary beneficial the way that we're trying to do it right now. Give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody has any questions. One other thing is, I am still planning on hosting a kind of optimal health retreat down in Cancun, Mexico. The dates are November 18th through the 21st. If you're interested, I'm going to shut down registration at the end of the month just so I have a final head count. But essentially, if you want kind of high-level circadian biology resets and actually be shown how this is done, why we're standing out on the beach facing east in the morning time, getting sun on our eyes, preconditioning it for when UV light comes out later in the day, the better. I didn't, mention, the app, the Circadian Life app, basically will give you that information. I've talked about previously the D-Minder Pro app. Just tells you what time of day to be outside to make vitamin D with UVB hitting your skin. The Circadian app takes a little bit further, actually tells you when UVA is coming out. UVA is very important for, precondition your skin for when UVB comes out so you don't burn. But UVA is very important for nitric oxide production in the cardiovascular system. So the app is very good about kind of giving you reminders of, sun's up, UVA's out, UVB's out, UVB's gone. Should be closing your feeding window, optimal times to exercise, optimal times for peak brain performance. So if you need a little bit of guidance, and there's a very excellent tutorial like learning section in there, check out the app. And again, the link is in my bio currently. All right, guys. Well, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.